Be cheaper for everybody.
There's more pros than cons.
I've always had mixed feelings.
Now I got no choice.
All year round road would really help.
We have to be ready.
It's kind of scary.
It will help the community.
We can't turn back.
It will happen.
I don't know how that'll work out.
Now it's a time to do it.
Who knows that?
Tulita's home. I basically grew up here my whole life. My grandparents lived here. Like it's just the generations of being here. Like makes it home.
The community itself is a wonderful place to live.
A lot of beautiful people in Tulita. It's, for me, they're beautiful.
I live here all my life and I know all the people here. And everybody gets along here in Tulita.
I grew up here all my life and I love it.
I grew up in this small community, so this is what I'm used to.
I think it's just because of friends, families, and what I can do here, just like walk around and just enjoy it and whatnot.
I keep hearing like Tulita is one of the kindest people like up in the north here.
As long as I'm out there on the land, like I'm traveling on the land, like in the Sahtu, I love it.
They're very beautiful people.
I used to go to meetings with my grandmother when they used to talk about the highway. And it's still going on.
I heard about the highway since I was a kid. It's been a discussion that's been going on for years and years.
In 1975, I think it was the first time we talked about highway here.
But this highway's been settled. They've been talking about it for quite a while now. So.
Well, 70 years of talking about the, highway that was even way before I was born.
I think it was the minister, Stephen Baker, wanted to come down this way to build the highway. So there is a resource to the north, he said.
We had blueprints and all kinds of information. I mean, it's been going on and on and on.
He said, okay, and today that okay is not okay yet. So that's a long time.
I used to sit there with my grandmother and get to hear all these elders all talking.
Oh my gosh. I remember Cece Macaulay talking about it back in the 1970s. And I still believe they should have built it when she was talking about it.
The cost was really down that time, but now it's escalated.
Like how long they've been talking about it and what they're going to talk about it for another 70 more years. I believe that if the community keeps pushing and working along with the other communities in the region, that it's something that is really needed for the future generations. And the only time we get a road is in the winter.
So the winter road, if you have never driven on it, is very winding. It goes through traditional passes because we try not to disturb the land as much as we could.
You're trying to dodge all these potholes and ruts and getting stuck in the open water parts of it.
Still like to be careful and whatnot, and there will be potholes, there will be like ruts and whatnot.
Yeah, all of a sudden, bang. And a few people broke their shock.
So there's ice, black ice, depending on if you're driving on the Mackenzie River. So you won't always see things.
They grade it and then they water it, put water on. It's only good for 2-3 days and then get it up again.
I'm terrified. And then especially like when my youngest grandson, like he goes out for hockey or whatever, and like I'm really afraid for him.
A 2-lane highway would be a lot safer.
I remember 2 ladies got stuck on an overflow. Just the tires spinning and they can't get to the road. So good thing that grader was coming along, so they pulled them out.
Yeah, because like now, like when I went in the road, I was like passing a big truck and like I had my head down. And I was like, I had to wait till it passed, and then I was like, I put my head back up and like my heart was just pounding.
It must have been like 20 or 30 trucks that were stuck at Blackwater.
Because there's this steep hill that's just, it was not viable to go up because due to the mud, the weather, it was just too warm to travel.
And everyone's truck was just fully loaded in mud.
Everybody that tried to go up that hill, they got stuck.
Tulita actually had to send in a cat and everything to pull each vehicle individually up that hill.
It was pretty brutal.
Given the circumstances, that could have been a lot worse because if someone were injured, if someone were harmed out there, they could have lost their life out there, right? You know, it's sad to think that, but I mean, that's the reality of it. So, but if there was a highway, we could have just in and out, right? No worry of whether we were going to make it or not.
At least the highway, they can cut through pretty well everything. Like when they build a highway, they can slowly cut on the side, like instead of steep.
It would be good to have the highway, like year-round, instead of only on the winter road.
It would help out to have a highway. That way that I'd have to wait like wintertime just to pick it up. I can just get on the highway and just grab it and then come back.
This year we've had a crazy amount of big trucks that have come through, and I think it's a real safety issue for many.
You're having all these big trucks, these heavy-duty trucks, and I mean, you're just racing around, and it's you know, it's not good. I mean, somebody's going to get hurt.
It's just such a small window, you know, to make those kind of trips, find time, the budget, and to get those things we need, because it's cheaper doing it that way.
Global warming is happening, and I doubt it they will have ice roads for big trucks.
It seems like the talks on that is that the highway is going to be built because of climate change.
You know, climate change is happening so fast.
Well, since 90, climate change started, so people got to say yes.
It's happening so fast. The water's dropping so fast too.
We're running out of water here in Mackenzie.
We could see that the water's been going down since 2000, maybe around the year 2000. The water level of that has started to change, and the ice breakup was different, especially this year.
Oh no, Mackenzie, no water. That's why I think they're rushing the highway, because no barge go on it.
The water actually went a lot lower than any other year, which did not allow the barge to go through. So then, you know, groceries, people's vehicles, timber, which delayed the constructions of some units that were being built. With an open highway, they could have got that timber through, the groceries, the vehicles.
At that time when I was young, the water was really high. It's always been high every year, so who thought about that day? But it's maybe 30, 40 years later, I see it happening now.
Now that we're dealing with climate change that may keep on happening.
It won't be that much worse, so we really need help.
Things are getting a little harder for transportation, eh? From here to there, eh?
It's also needed, the highway, because that's the way we could drive all this. We were able to get away from fire.
I know with all the climate change happened, and no barge coming up, and how the grocery costs so much here to fly it in. But if we had the road, it would be cheaper for our community.
Back in the 60s, the price of the food and all the things that come in at that time, they were really cheap. Today, things are sky high.
And with the highway, it would be it would save people a lot more money.
It's
too expensive in Tulita.
Like, cause like here, like you can't even walk out to the northern store with one bag and that's over $300.
Everything's expensive in the northern. That's why in the wintertime, everybody goes south to go shopping.
All the food prices are going up, up, up.
Everything's going so high.
A lot of people, they're on a fixed income, so it's going to be harder for them if things don't improve here in Tulita.
There's a lot of things that I can't afford. Like gas is $52 a liter now. 5 gallons is $52.
The highway will definitely help, yeah. Just for like the economy, like for like groceries that will come in and it'll be cheaper. I guess gas prices will probably go down too and whatnot.
It's hard to get material and food, especially food.
It will help just with our groceries here. The cost of that will lower. We could get material sent in on the road where we could have more like houses and all that types of stuff where we're not depending on the barge and whether if it's going to make it or not.
So highway, that's the only thing. Well, keep our costs down, I guess.
Even when you buy food in Yellowknife and bring it on North Right Air, the freight is crazy. So we need the highway.
You know, the cost of things will go down and stuff like that, which is good for us for sure.
Before the winter road opens, we plan our trip and we make a list of what we all need, like our groceries, our cleaning supplies.
Gifts for like Christmases and stuff like that to stock up time, like before time, right?
I make sure that I buy my baby's like presents and his birthday supplies because his birthday's in May and it's already closed in May.
We need houses, we need materials to build our houses. We need all this stuff that the highway could ship right in.
We can't even build houses, or people can't even build their own houses because, you know, it's impossible. You can't have all that lumber shipped in.
Well, they're renovating my house. I moved out in April. And I was supposed to be, I think they said a couple of months, but this is last year in April. And I'm still waiting because they were waiting for supplies.
You know, just the easier way of life. I mean, if we could have that, we should be able to have that. It's the 21st century, you know? Well, why can't we do all those things?
If the highway was built, maybe it could have got the supplies, and then maybe I would have been back in my house.
There are pros and cons that comes with this. I just hope that with the incoming highway, we focus on training our people better on how to drive.
So I guess the dangers of just driving on the highway and what it could bring.
Drinking and driving is on the rise, sadly, this far north.
It's accident. We're gonna have a lot of accident. It will happen, you know. And highway will all happen.
Say somebody could bring in way more alcohol, and that just leads to more problems for the community, because like bootleggers, vehicle accidents.
We would be more worried for our kids than we are now.
Like, I'm scared for my grandkids and like other people's like kids and all that.
You know, just having easier access to the community with people that we don't know.
My son is 3 years old, so it's just like his generation, like when the highway comes, it's just like we can't let our kids run around and, you know.
And just thinking about all the kids who are just hitchhike and all things like that.
You'll be seeing like whole new faces and like, you know, you have to watch.
I know from Hay River or somewhere where they have a highway, they have to be more like protective of their belongings. They can't just leave anything outside because people steal things too. And it just, you don't know what type of people that would come into our community as well.
It should be fine. I think it should be okay. Like, even if it grows and grows, it's gonna grow anyways, whether you like it or not.
It'll be all over the place. It'll get crowded, I guess, with highway. Lots of tourists.
I think that it would hopefully increase the tourism business.
Bear Rock is the symbol of Tulita. I'm sure tourists would like to climb it. I mean, people are already climbing it anyway, making it protected land, protected mountain, not to be desecrated.
And we have a lot of sacred place that has to be identified. And the stories behind who we are also has to be shared.
Tourism can also bring funding in for each community too, so it will help a lot too.
That's the biggest concern here in Tulita. Drugs.
That's another dangerous thing for our people. I want them to understand all the effects of all the drugs and alcohol.
Oh yeah, I know. That's the thing that elders, like us, elders, they worried about young people.
To me, it's going to be more drug traffic coming in.
Whatever's down there, they're going to bring it all up here. Alcohol, drugs. They're here, but there'll be more coming.
Which is a big fear of mine, because if you look at the communities, that's just what's making its way up here. And it's one of the sad coping mechanisms for people this far north, just because we don't have access to, like social workers, therapy, things like that.
The addictions and everything, like what got to do with alcohol and drugs, everything that's going. It'll be even worse when the highway goes through.
I grew up a lot with alcohol in the family, and I have grandkids now, and I'm trying to, do right by them.
Me, I'm getting older now, so I don't know if I'll be around. I'm not too sure, but the younger generation will be here. So that's a concern for me.
We don't know what's coming in. All the drugs are coming in, it's already here. And, crack, cocaine, meth, fentanyl probably here already. And when I look at that, because I work closely with some young people on addiction.
But a lot of them are into alcohol and drugs, so I don't know how that'll work out.
Within the towns where we're living, it's going to get worse, they say.
And everything's going to come here with the highway. That's my biggest concern.
If drugs do make its way in this, especially harder drugs make its way into the community, that's, more possibilities for overdoses, especially if it's something like fentanyl or carfentanil. We can't save those people because the nearest hospital is in Yellowknife. And even on a medevac, that's like an 1.5 hour flight depending on wind direction. So by the time you even get somebody or a plane down here, they're gonna be gone.
The drugs are already here anyway, so what difference will that make?
Doesn't matter if there's highway or no highway, it still comes in.
I think it's already up here, so it doesn't really matter. It's already here and it's happening worse than ever. So it's here no matter what.
I think they're going to blame a lot of the drugs and criminal activity on the highway when it's already been occurring. So I don't think that's really fair to say, if the highway goes through, drugs are going to come in as if they're not already occurring.
A few people like to see the highway, how it's going to be working. But after the highway goes through, we can't change it. We can't shut it down, we can't change it.
It's here, people are saying that, I hear that. But how can we prevent it from getting worse?
All our leaders, all our own people, we have to educate on what's coming in the community, what's going out.
Just get ready. I'm saying just get ready for it. Because it's going to bring a lot of social things to the community.
It's up to the community if they want this, and then they have to prepare how they're going to help the young people.
So we have time yet, so we can get together as a community and discuss some things or hire some people to come in, professional people to come in to help our people.
It's up to us how we're being educated and how we're going to be using the road. So it's not just open to anything that's coming in and out.
I wanted to see if the government and those territories can help us to build some kind of center so that our people can sort of understand why.
I think we need awareness before it start coming. We got to start now. We start now, not wait till later.
I'm hoping at least if we do have the highway come in, we'd have better access to, you know, therapy, counseling.
It'll benefit the communities. We can open the door to Norman Wells and Good Hope, Colville and Delaney and...
Not just the Sahtu, like other connecting communities that are further.
It would be good for people, young people.
A year-round highway would mean easier access to leave the community.
I think just having access for the people in the community to leave without having to go by boat or to fly.
Yes, I do believe that highway will be more freedom for us. Like you can just leave anytime you want. You don't have to wait for the winter.
So I did live down south and I got used to just getting on the highway whenever I wanted, and not being able to drive home in the summers is kind of a bummer.
It's just easier to get out of here instead of being limited seasonally.
And if there was a highway, there would be, the people would have the option of traveling in and out of the community when it was necessary.
To fly out of here, it's like pretty much an arm and a leg during the summer. And in the winter, you can just jump in your vehicle and you're out of here.
When you're in a remote community, it's so limited. There's like nothing really. So when you have this highway, at least that's opening, you know, doors.
There's not enough jobs in the communities, there's not enough things to do in the community. Like with the highway, it would allow more extracurricular like activities.
You know, it'd be easier for like organizations to go like for meetings.
You never know, we might get a small restaurant.
If we did have the highway, it will allow people to easily go to school, or even if people are in school, they can easily come home on their breaks rather than just coming home during the winter months.
It'll be so much easier for them to go out, like, you know, for schooling and that. And
if your kids are off to like Fort Smith or Yellowknife going to school, I mean, they should be able to come home.
If they were to go to school, like, you know, by the time that they're of age to like go to college or something, you know, I could just drive out and go visit them on, like, you know, the holidays, or, you know, I could bring them back for the holidays.
Stuff like that, like if the highway does open and then people that want to go to school, the highway will help out with that.
A lot of people have family outside of the community, and they also, like, you know, I've spoken with them, like, you know, like, why don't you come back home? They're like, it's too expensive.
My kids all live down south, and if they want to come home for the holidays, it's pretty expensive.
During the winter road, like, you can ask everybody. Everybody's just like in and out, going from place to place. But like, as soon as that road closes, then everybody's either stuck in or stuck out, and then they gotta, you know, like, try to make an affordable living just to visit their family back home.
The last time two of my kids came home was for my mother's funeral. They haven't been home since. Highway would make it easier for them to come home.
I have 2 kids, and a fiance from another community, it just makes it more difficult for them to visit my home, where, you know, like I consider their lineage, their heritage. Like I would want them to get to know my culture. But due to, you know, cost, it's just not exactly viable to do. So with the highway, it would actually be cheaper and, you know, affordable for them to visit regularly, other than, you know, once a year or once every 3 years, you know?
I'd say like it'll also open some job opportunities for Tulita members.
That would be another good thing too, is to employ the members of this, like not just Tulita, but the surrounding communities.
For the younger generation, it'll create more jobs for them.
Job like operating grader like that, or loader, or the truck drivers.
I'd imagine, you know, there'd be maintenance, there'd be highway patrol, you know, there'd actually be like, you know, like medics need to be available to respond.
There'd be a lot of industry stuff like that, eh? For people, eh? You know, other business, eh? Small business to big, whatever.
There's a lot of creative ways to think of employing your own people.
You know, have our people community take care of the road and build the highway, so the community benefit.
Yeah, we get job only. The low pay job.
Say like if the highway is getting done, like, you know, like community should start doing training so like our people can get hired.
They always want experience. We don't got experience in Tulita now. So that's out. Maybe contractor might get contract, but they'll hire from out of town experienced people.
What the community and people wanted more is to get involved into the highway, like, you know, help build the highways.
I didn't want to build something there and then they forget about it. You know, that's what I'm worried about.
If they don't maintain it good enough, it'll be dangerous for sure.
But if we do it in a good way, and I know that it will probably work, let's talk to the government and say, hey, help us out too. And we'll help each other out. And we could do this puzzle, build a foundation, build a nice house, fix it all up and save the highway. We could do that if we all come together and work together as one.
Like I would love the highway to go through, but the thing is that my concern is about the wildlife, the animals, and the creeks and all things like that.
To make it worse, there's a lot of fire that pretty well took all the animals away from us today.
I would say build it, but keep in mind of like the migrations, the water, like do put all the safety contingencies in place before moving forward.
But when I'm thinking of the highway, I'm thinking about like how it's closer to the wells there. It's not going to be this huge highway where everything's going to be destroyed. I mean, we could find ways around that. How can animals, I guess, cross it safely?
It's very clear, like it's open, you can see in the distance.
I'd sleep better at night knowing that the government did everything in their power to not disturb the wildlife, not leave a mess afterwards. You know, like I would hate to drive down the highway and see like tools and old vehicles and shit like just lying around.
And take care of the land. That's very important. That on the land, it's a powerful medicine. That's what we got in medicine. Let's take care of it. Let's do it in a good way. We live that land. That's what gave us life. You know, it's Mother Earth. And take care of it.
Me, I'm ready for the highway. I'm okay with it, but I worry about my young people.
We do have to have the highway. It'll make everything cheaper than flying everything in instead.
It's good. It's good to have highway. Easy access, eh? For cost, everything, eh? Maybe down the road different, but I don't know.
I think a year-round highway would help because we would have access to traveling in and out of the community instead of being isolated.
At first I was against it because of the young people, but right now I probably think it would be good because last year there was no water.
This highway, I don't know, it might help a lot. Groceries, maybe.
I'd say I'm pretty undecided because, like I said, there are pros and cons to this.
In the future, like with my grandchildren, my great-great-grandchildren's and that, like things will be worse if we don't have highway.
I would like to see it happen like right away. Maybe I'll do more traveling.
I just think it would like bring more to the community than it would take long term.
There's room for growth for the community once there's a highway.
Open the road. The cons to it, we'll just learn, we'll educate ourselves.
I'm undecided because you gotta balance it, right? You gotta just balance it.
Yeah, I agree with the highway. Hopefully I'm still here, but everything takes so long to build.
Yeah, I'm excited just because I know change. It will bring change, and I think with change, you know, there's growth.
We have to do something. Now it's a time to do it. We shouldn't be living like we're, you know, in the 50s and 60s.
I feel I'm more on the undecided side just because of the pros and cons of the project. But I wouldn't say I'm totally against it because of what it can bring for the community.
I think we need an all-weather road because things are changing. Climate change is changing, so.
I'm 100% go with the highway, like, you know, 100% good for everybody.
I was against it, yeah. But climate change changed my mind, so I'm for it now. I don't mind highway, but it'll be after my time, I guess.
Yes, I do want to see it done. Hopefully when I'm still alive.